Trauma. It's a trendy topic, and it's also something that we're just beginning to acknowledge in our society. And it can happen in so many ways that don't appear in a traditional way as being traumatic. So, for example, being in a car accident, even if you're not badly harmed, creates trauma. Being in a relationship where over time someone puts you down over and over and over again in little ways is a type of trauma. Being at a job where you're disregarded, or there is a pattern of people sending each other energy whacks to be in control, creates a type of trauma pattern. And losing a loved one in an unexpected way can create a trauma pattern. So trauma is something that's part of the human experience. Every single person has had some form of it. And it's also a teacher. It's a way for us, our body, it's basically what our whole system is. All of our system, our heart, our mind, our body, our spirit is doing in response to the world around us. And that, the important piece, and the reason I wanted to talk about it this Tune In Tuesday, is that we acknowledge it. And sometimes it can be really easy to not acknowledge if we aren't the one that was traumatized. We just witnessed a trauma and that traumatized us. Sometimes it can be easy to avoid acknowledging if we leave the situation, the relationship, the job, and haven't had a similar experience again. It's easy to go, oh, I moved on. And yet that trauma held in your energy field unresolved still is affecting what you're doing and how you're experiencing your life and what you're letting yourself have, and whether you feel safe in certain situations. So this Tune In Tuesday, I'm inviting you to acknowledge that, small or huge, there have been traumas in your life. And some of them you may be really aware of and have done a lot of processing on, and other ones are sort of secretive and sort of maybe you don't even realize they were there. But a signal that there is some sort of unresolved trauma in your energy field can often be a resistance to something within yourself, like a polarity is what I would call it. When you know this would be a good path for you to take, and you also resist it. And it's not because you're afraid of that path. You feel the pull to it, but there's a resistance to it because you've had a traumatic experience in the past. And when that happens, take a deep breath, feel into your body, and notice where your resistance is. I got my kitty and my Googie here hanging out with me outside in the cold. Notice in your body where you feel it, and then acknowledge it. Oh gosh, I feel a restriction, a constriction, something in the way of my path forward that is related to having a bad experience with it in the past. And I'm just going to acknowledge it as a starting point and breathe into that spot in my body to invite it to release, to invite it, that energetic tension to release, to begin the step of healing from the trauma you experienced and create a different experience for yourself.